Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, coming that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my very squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about Riftbound, the League of Legends trading card game. Yeah, it's been a while since I talked about Riftbound. In fact, I was just thinking to myself the other day, I should probably do a follow up video for it. It's been a bit over half a year now since I have been chatting about Riftbound, and in that time, there's been some changes. We've got a few new sets, we got some changes to box prices, single prices, growth, opinions, etc. There's a bit to talk about, but let's chat about the overall state of the game right now and how there is some negativity towards Riftbound, especially after Spirit Forge released, but for the most part, looks pretty good. There's a lot of positivity about the card game online. A lot of the same people who got into it just as Origins released are still very excited about the card game in general. There's still a growing tournament scene and organized play scene. There's definitely a growing interest in the game, especially as some of the prices have cooled off. We'll talk about that in just a second. And for the overall opinion of the game, as far as the internet's concerned, it's either A, completely ignored, or B, largely positive. I don't see too many people being overly negative about Riftbound when I check on the social medias, the super intelligent corners of the internet. You guys know what I'm talking about. For the most part, things look good. Things look positive. But there are some things we should talk about, because when I do see people being negative towards it, it's about one aspect in particular, the financial aspect. And as you guys know, we live in the scalper's world, so if you can't buy a box for $100 and then instantly make $400 on it, then obviously it's a dead card game. So let's talk about Riftbound in that regard. First things first, let's talk about the first set, Origins, the alpha set, the base set of Riftbound, as it were. Now, if you guys remember, this was a very hot item for a while. Had quite a price tag attached to it for a bit, just so we're all clear. But it does look like over the last few months, things have largely cooled off, and it's sitting around the 200, 230 range for English booster boxes. And I have to specify English booster boxes because, yes, Riftbound is a cross-language game, and boxes in other languages, especially Chinese, are cheaper, just so we're clear. But yeah, English booster boxes for Origins are around 230, which is honestly not terrible, especially when you take into consideration just how much fervor and hype there was for that set. Crazy stuff. Next up is the February set. That's always a weird word to say out loud. Spirit Forge, the super hyper negative set that everyone was like, oh, this is the death of the game already. That was a weird time. Spirit Forge is right about 150 right now, which is not terrible either, all things considered. It did see a bump up in prices, and then it kind of cooled back down to the 150 mark. But the third set is the one I want to talk about right now, the Unleashed set, the May set, which right now is sitting at, after the pre-order and release day spikes and all that jazz, it's sitting at around 110. And this is despite what's inside the box, because yeah, you may have noticed a trend going on here. All three of these sets started off fairly high and have started dipping down fairly low, relatively speaking, with each successive set so far being cheaper than the last. Wild stuff. And just so we're clear, the new set, Vendetta, which comes out later this month, its pre-orders are around the 150 range, and there's a bunch of people online saying that it's going to go down to $90, and I don't believe that. I do think for Riftbound, like 100, 110 is probably the floor, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, I'm not a guru. I can't see the future, but it would be hard for me to believe any of these boxes could really dive too far below 100, as long as the game's still alive, I should say, as long as this is still a living card game. Huge stipulation I got to put in there. But besides the boxes themselves, the other Aspects of the game look pretty good. Decks are still very affordable. That's nice. And there are still collectible cards, especially the signature cards, which are still the collector's item of choice for this card game, I think. The all tart over numbered signature cards. I forget how they call them specifically in the game itself. I think they are over numbered signature cards, is what their official title is, but I confess it's been a while since I bothered to double check what any of the special rarities for any card game are. I know that Yu-Gi-Oh's extended arts have some kind of special name, but I just keep calling them Overrush rares, just to give you guys a good idea of how seriously I take that kind of stuff. But yeah, to get back on track, the signature cards for Riftbound are still very highly desired. Some of them, actually quite a few of them, are well over $1,000 in price tags. And that's even for the bad sets like Unleashed, which again, this is a $110 box. That has, I think, 2 cards that are over $1,000 because they are the highly sought after signature variants. Wild stuff. And that just goes to show you that there is some serious collectible demand behind this, because some of these cards are not just requesting $1,000 price tags, they are selling at those price tags, which is wild. For any card game, let's be very clear, it does not matter what your TCG is, how well it's doing, how bad it's doing. If you see cards selling at $1,000, that's crazy. I'll always believe that. Always. But let's walk back in time a bit and compare where we are now to where we were at the start, when Origins first released, when Riftbound first released, and all we had was those initial Origins boxes and the 4-player starter set. It was hard. There was so much hype, there was so much excitement and fervor, and so many of the investor bros, speculator bros, clamoring for League of Legends, a card game for League of Legends, to be the next big thing, because League of Legends is such a huge IP. It's got so many players. Obviously, a TCG based off of it is gonna be a smash hit. It's gonna be the next Pokemon, the next One Piece, whatever you wanna use to justify buying up all the boxes you can. But for a while, it was actually damn near impossible to get any product. Crazy stuff, but it's changed. I'm happy to say that that has changed. It looks like Riot Games has, for the most part, kept true to their stated goals of making the sealed product for their game as widely available as possible. Now, I know that that does come with some negative connotations, but we'll get to that in just a second. I don't want to talk about how I personally feel about printing things into the ground, beyond my personal belief that making boxes available is a good thing. Looking at you, Pokemon. Looking at you, Pokemon. The other thing that Riftbound has going for it that's changed over the last half a year, beyond printing the boxes to the point that they're available everywhere, is that quality control has definitely increased. It's definitely improved across the board. Just look at my own box openings here on the channel and how frayed some of the card edges looked, and compare that to some of the newer box opening videos you can see on YouTube for things like Unleashed, where it definitely looks, that was supposed to be a finger snap there, it definitely looks like card quality has improved. I don't see a whole lot of frayed edges on any of the cards anymore. They don't look damaged out of the pack, which is, it's always nice for a collectible, isn't it? That the thing you bought isn't damaged the moment you open it. Great stuff. But yeah, let's do, I suppose we should rewind quick and talk about it. The overall state of the boxes and the overall, again, the slight negativity that comes from that one specific corner of the internet. The game is growing, okay? Like I said, tournaments are larger than they were 6 months ago. More people are playing. Decks are affordable. There's all kinds of dedicated fan groups, Discord servers, Reddit threads, etc. talk about this game, but despite that, prices are trending downwards. Why is that? Well, like I said, Riot Games does seem to be committed to this goal of making product available, which does come as a double-edged sword, okay? On one hand, this means that the boxes that everybody wants as much of as they can get, like Origins, which does even now seem to be highly desirable, it does mean that that is still largely available. And if you want to get a hold of some, you can. It's Not super easy, but it is there, and if you're willing to pay just a bit more, you can get it. It's not wildly unavailable. But while this does mean that Origins is available, it also means that Unleashed is available. And Unleashed did not have a great reception. It did not have a huge level of hype to it. There's definitely some desire to it. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, it still has signature cards. It still has very playable cards, leading the charge in terms of singles prices. But the boxes overall aren't the most desired thing on the market right now when it comes to Riftbound. And that definitely shows with Riot, what appears to be Riot's overall printing policy, where, again, these boxes are 110, which is, it's not terrible. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Just so we're clear, it's not Yu-Gi-Oh. Wild stuff. But while a year ago, I would have said that promising to print your products into the ground, or the stated goal of printing your products into the ground for availability's sake, a year ago, I would have been negative on that. But things have changed. Now we have other games to look at to say, yeah, you can print as much as you want if there's still desire, if there's still actual genuine interest, the market can absorb it. Okay? Remember, my opinions are always changing. What I learned from the TCG market and the world of collectibles is always changing, and I do genuinely believe right now that if there is actual demand for something, if there is actual demand for your product, then you can print as much as you want, and it's still going to get slurped up. And the biggest thing I can point to help back that argument up is Lorcana, where Lorcana does have a very aggressive printing strategy where their stuff just, for a while, especially that first set, was being really aggressively printed to the point where you had super high IQ people in all corners of the internet, and YouTube and Reddit and all those places, swearing up and down that buying Lorcana boxes was a stupid idea, and that if you bought any of the first chapter, you were an idiot, because it's just going to go to zero sooner or later because of all the printings that it's had. And while I was never that doomish, I did think that, especially when you have more and more sets coming out, going back and reprinting the first, second, and third boxes was a foolish decision. But now that I look back at my own experience with both Lorcana and Riftbound now, I can say with some confidence that, again, if people actually desire it, doesn't matter how much you print. It's not just those two games. It's also a good inverse of it is the Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Star Wars, and a nice middle ground is Magic, where Magic does definitely seem to print a lot of the newer stuff, just never enough, because Magic's always growing. Crazy stuff, too, to think about that. As big a game as Magic is, it could still get bigger. And it's, they want to. But we're not here to talk about Magic today. We're here to briefly chat about Riftbound. And I've got to say, actually, you know what, let's wrap this up by just saying, if you look at the first year or so of Lorcana releases, it's very evident now that printing it into the ground didn't do jack diddly or squat, because there's so much demand for it. If Riftbound sticks around, and if Riftbound continues to grow and becomes this genuinely desirable game that's based on a massive IP that loads of people speculate on and all that jazz, it won't matter how much of Origins or Spirit Forged or Vendetta are printed, because people are still going to want that. And sooner or later, no more is going to be coming. Sooner or later, those printers are going to turn off for those sets. And if that happens, again, if, I always have to stress, if that happens, if these circumstances arise and everything goes out well, there could be some real gems in there. And, you know, there could be a day 3-5 years down the line where we're looking back at Riftbound and going, people used to pay $150 for Spirit Forged. Man, I wish I could get that price tag. Wild stuff. But I should drink water more often. I'm going to end it there. All I'm here to say is that overall, Riftbound looks pretty good. I am still looking forward to certain heroes being added to the game to try out. If you know me, you know who I'm talking about. But other than that, looks good. and I'm overall very optimistic about its future. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As usual, please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.